Bärnreuther. I'm working for Munich Re. I will today present you our approach to crypto-related risks. So especially I will focus on how traditional insurance and fintech or crypto tech can work together here. To myself, I'm with Munich Re since 10 years. I'm an actuary. I'm holding a PhD in physics. This is my opinion. I didn't go through group communication to check everything, so even my team members might have a different opinion in it. So take it with a grain of salt. Perhaps if you don't know Munich Re, we are quite an old company, really a TradFi company, 140 years around. We are a reinsurance company, so we reinsure other insurance companies, meaning as well that we are allowed to work with primary insurance who's in the space. We are about 10,000 people, which sounds a lot, of course, but it's really little if you compare to other large players. That's because we really are not, we are the reinsurer who's behind them and give more capacity. From our annual report, I took this line: we provide coverage for extraordinary risks such as rocket launches, renewable energies, or cyber attacks. This was, I think, page 2. I hope in 2 years we can write there and crypto-related risk. To our team and our commitment, we have really a strong commitment, which was a grassroots movement. So a lot of people in different departments are personally interested in this topic. So we built up a team, and now an official innovation team within Munich Re. We have as well board commitment, and we are one of these strategic innovation playing fields. So there's really attention as well as on crypto from the board level. And our approach is we look at everything which is crypto related, but of course as well crossing the river by feeling the stones, going step by step and learn on the way. So what we are doing, the first which we take on is the custodian risk. Basically you lose funds because you have your money within custodians. I think Mt. Gox was the most famous one which we had. And there you're losing your funds. And we are working here with technology providers, and but as well, which you would know as well with the large custodians. We could close in the last 12 months several deals. 2 of them are public. First is Curve, which is basically a technology provider for this MPC, multi-party computation. And the other one is Munich Re, which is a very small, it's a small insurance startup in Hong Kong, but they really could convince us that they have superior knowledge in evaluating and doing the risk assessment for these custodians' risk. So we gave them capacity. And the second pillar which we have is smart contract. Everybody who used DeFi has, I think, some experience in it. I will go a little bit more detail in two slides. You put money into a smart contract and this is hacked or the money is frozen. You don't get it out. Here we partner as well with companies where we think they have exceptional risk know-how, and their partnership will be hopefully announced soon. I cannot reveal it now. But from our end, we have the wording finalized. We know our risk appetite. So if you want to insure a large chunk of your DeFi, Munich Re is definitely an option. Of course, our main trouble here is really how to partner with this DeFi protocol. So we are, of course, Hugh is an ex-colleague from us. We are talking to us. We are talking to others as well, but really making deals with DAOs, we didn't find a way. If you know some, please come up to us later. This is really the most trouble which we have there. Another column is slashing risk. In these proof of stake blockchains, you have validators who are building the new blocks, and there's a risk that you get slashed if you do something malicious, but it might be as well that you just be offline or you do a double signing by accident. So all these validators are concerned with the slashing risk. This is as well something where we see a lot of market demand, and we are looking currently into it. And as well, here we are looking for and exploring this risk and looking for people with a lot of knowledge here. Other bets, that is really why I love this crypto initiative so much. So there's so much coming up, like NFT storage insurance. Yeah, if the NFT gets deleted by accident, this is something we are looking into it. Or, for example, miners are approached by family offices who want to buy bitcoins, but they must be green bitcoins, so mined by green energies. So the miners are facing the problem if the price for the renewable energy goes up and the Bitcoin price down. Yeah, and they are looking for solutions in these areas as well. I think there's a lot of tech E&O, also so arrows and emissions in this crypto sector is asked for. So we are looking at the moment of everything, very broad, but of course we have to be selective. So these are the 4 buckets basically which we are looking at. There's of course a lot of old risk with some small crypto components. Like if you're a mining company, you have your property risks that your mining company just burns down. But I think this is too traditional that we look into it as a project. And perhaps here only to give you a flavor what we are doing, or this I'm personally doing to get a little bit into the space. And here a short deep dive in the smart contract risk. So we or myself mainly were analyzing 107 all basically smart contract exploits in 2021 in depth. And there were of course much more, but I didn't analyze every Binance chain rug pull. And then we really looked into and we tried then to cluster it about are they insurable? So there are a lot of like rug pulls, it's not insurable. Phishing attack is not insurable. Oracle attacks would be a difficult one. Then I think BetcherDAO was a great example because the smart contract, there was not an error in the smart contract, it was really in the front end. So is this insurable? Probably not. So we looked at which of these hacks could we insure? And then we did here probability analysis. So what is the probability that a smart contract gets hacked? And then the severity. So if it's hacked, how much of your funds would you lose? And if we look at the Ethereum chain, because it's the major or the most major chain, we would say for my randomly chosen protocol, it's like 6%. So it's like 6% sounds quite high. It's 1 of 16. So much protocols got hacked. So it's more. It's on the one side a high number. On the other side, it's a low number. On the severity side, this was super surprising for me when I saw this. On hindsight, it makes sense that you have a lot of protocols, you lose almost nothing, only 2, 3, 4%, and a lot of protocols which are then hacked to 100%. Again, this is only it's from our perspective, only the insured ones, or where all insurance cover would attach. Yeah. And what you can see as well, if you're a small company, so with your TVL is quite low, then it's basically always 100%. Yeah, that your whole money is gone. If you're a large company or a large protocol, you have a large total value locked, then the probability is quite high that only a few percent of your funds is gone. What are open questions and which we are investigating, but as well looking here for other opinions. For example, what is the impact of an audit? Yeah, it should reduce the probability that it's getting hacked. But to really see it in the data, it's really difficult because you have to see which version was audited, was this version deployed, would the hack would have happened as well with the audited version. So there's a lot of work to be done. Or what is does the experience of the team or that the team is stocks, does this have any influence of the probability that is hacked? So just there's still a lot of open questions to come really that you can really determine the expected loss of a protocol. Yeah, I'm often but this is a totally different slide. I'm often asked what is an insurance perspective on all these companies, on the protocols. Again, this is my personal opinion. I try to cluster the companies which I see. I don't know if I did a very good job there, so perhaps your opinion is totally different. And as well, we are talking to a lot of the names which is here in the protocol, but not to all of them, and sometimes we had only one call, and I might have totally misunderstand the business model. So let's take the first one. I call it the Ubers, because these are the decentralized platforms for new risks. Here it's quite crowded. Yeah, we see Nexus, V1, Insurance, Tidal, Ensure, Harbor, Unslashed, more than I can say. It's of course a great space to be in, but only 1, 2, 3 protocol will probably survive and be the platform for new crypto risks. Then we have, I call them the hippos, you could call them perhaps as well the lemonades, which are concentrating on the old risks, but where you would ask them, what is your main USP? It's the operational efficiency. Yeah? Where you say, hey, we are a little bit like a TradFi company, but we are much more efficient. And the platforms would be, there are platforms like Nimes or Ensuro, but there are as well other companies. You know? So centralized parametric insurance, I would put into this bucket. Then Moonbirds. So if you don't know what a Moonbird is, you haven't been on Twitter the last 3 days, or I'm following strange people. Basically, it's the new Bored Ape or the new CryptoPunks. And these are the centralized new companies which are doing these new cryptolized. Like Munich Re, which we partners, one which I cannot announce yet. But I would like to see much more companies here. I don't see so many here where we say, okay, we have the risk capabilities to evaluate this risk and have a new centralized company we can do a reinsurance contract with. And then the dinosaurs, the CryptoPunks, that's the centralized, old-fashioned TradFi company which are looking for new risks, where I see, except us in the custodian business, I see Lloyd's. Otherwise, not much. And that's okay. We don't have to change this. So what is in for you? We are looking always for partners with exceptional risk expertise, which have solved the distribution problem, which have a profitable business model, which is always hard for us if you don't know what KYC is or AMM. If you are DAO, it's really tough for us to work together with these kinds of protocols. So that's from my side. I'm open for questions. Any questions? I scared you. Yeah.
Ask you a question. So, Peter, in your view, how should companies decentralized or centralized solve the capital problem in DeFi? So these risks are, we only have a number of years in terms of data, and we can analyze those 100 or 200 cases a lot, but it's still just 200 data points. How much capital needs to be there to ensure the claims are properly paid out? And on top of that, how can we ensure that that capital can be used to generate enough yields for the capital providers?
Yeah, it's a very good question. I mean, in DeFi, I think we have had some data points at least. Yeah, it's not too bad. More research has to be done there to really get a better feeling here. But basically, our approach is crossing the river by feeding the stones. So step by step, giving out smaller limits, and then in the next years to increase it. That's basically how we going forward. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you for the presentation. So you are Munich Re is a dinosaur. This is how you named yourself, I think. And I think you sit on a lot of data, and you mentioned that you would like to interact more with the DeFi space. So I was wondering, what type of data would you like to put on-chain in order to interact with DeFi? How do you see these partnerships?
So what we are looking is basically if some companies like Munich Re, I think it's a good example, which convinced us, they have really great knowledge and risk assessment of certain custodian business. And then we can make business, we can give them our capacity. They can write much more than they could have written without us. And so we collaborate on a very traditional way. You know. Yeah.
Would you put your capacity behind such projects like EtherRisk or Nexus Mutual?
That's
to
a
buffer the high, you know what I mean?
Of course, we have to analyze it. Yeah. But I think a very good question is as well: would we stake on these platforms? And would we stake on these platforms? Yeah, like EtherRisk or Nexus, and we would love to. This was the first basically idea which we had. The issue with Nexus is that they are going full DAO. We cannot. There's no KYC. Perhaps we pay out to a Russian oligarch, which we don't want to, and we don't know. So this is our main problem. But staking is for me basically collateralized reinsurance. We are buying cat bonds all the time, investing in them. So this would be very traditional for us to use these platforms for staking.
Would you buy tokens?
We are into it. we can know, yeah. Yeah, we can, but it's difficult for us. But I think if there are these opportunities that we can say, hey, there's a risk which we really like, it would speed up things. Yeah. But we got now our MetaMask and.
But you would step into a trial, into a project, to find out how to.
Pardon?
You would step into a project, into a trial, to find out how to proceed in such a collaboration, using token, for instance.
Yeah, for Nexus you have to need this NXM token. Yeah, this would be possible. Yeah, we would as well here start with a small scale, stake it, but here it's all of them basically are decentralized. There's no KYC, and then it's from compliance perspective for us not possible.
Yeah, but is KYC Christopher? Isn't that the case?
I don't know for EtherRisk. I don't know if you have.
Our DIP token is fully KYC from the minting, from the original minting. So we can provide DIP tokens which are clean, yeah, which have never been traded, which are where we can prove every the provenance of the money to the detail and on a level of Swiss KYC. So that is possible, but I think the problem is more your financial accountant will ask, where shall I put that token? Yeah, is that a security? Is that they have no drawers to put the token in, in their balance sheet, and I think that is something what needs to be solved. That the accountants know how they can handle that in the balance sheet.
We are solving this problem right now, so we got some money on chain now. But for us, the problem is if we pay out. If we pay out, is this person KYC'd? Yeah. This is a must be, and this is for most. There might be others, but for most, it's not the case. There was another question. Oh, yeah.
Thinking about the product you showed, an insurance against a smart contract, I'm myself asking now, okay, is there actually a business case behind that? Because if you say 6% break at some point, this also already gives me quite a high premium when I think about it. And then we have the case that either the loss is so minimal that probably going through the claims process is not worth it, or on the other hand, it's such a total loss that probably your policy pricing is going to be rather high. So is there actually a business case for both the insurer and the person who deploys the smart contract, who manages the smart contract? Or is it basically going to be so prohibitively expensive nobody can actually use it in production?
Well, currently we have like the 6% probability, and a little bit less than 50% severity. So your expected loss would be like 3%, but this is for a randomly chosen protocol. So we hope that the Awe compounds of this world, where we won't start with, are doing much better. But this is really the ongoing task which I have as well. Okay, what is the difference between an audited protocol and a not audited? And there should be some, but I don't have it yet in the data because I don't have the necessary data. But this is, I think, a research which the whole community has to do and is doing at the moment.
What's the easiest way to reach you for partnerships?
Just come over later, or my email, I think my email address is included on the website, or p.bärnreuther@munichre.com. Yeah. Okay, thank you.